Hey, Satanico here once again for Godlovescomics, and this is part 2 of my reading of the Saga of Swamp Thing, Alan Moore opus, and as you can see, the Justice League of America. So that's a surprising entrance, but as you can see from this cover, which I believe is actually the first cover now by Steve Bissette and John Toleben, the Justice League look a little bit confused, mystified, horrified, as the Floronic Man is pulling a chainsaw on the Swamp Thing, and they seem relatively powerless, even though Firestorm seems to be cheering someone on. Wonder Woman is face palming. This is Roots. There is a house above the world where the over people gather. There is a man with wings like a bird. There is a man who can see across the planet and wring diamonds from its anthracite. There is a man who moves so fast that his life is an endless gallery of statues. In the house above the world, the over people gather and sit and listen to a dry, mad voice that whispers of earth death. There is nothing that you can do. It is the day. For I am Woodrue, grief and rage of the wilderness, and the veldt speaks through me, and through me is the will of the jungle known. See the revenge of the grass. Oh Lord, you have waged bitter and undeclared war upon the green, gutting the rainforest mile after mile, day after day. But know this, the war has come home. It is man's turn to embrace the Sith. If allowed to live, you will kill our planet. You must be removed. From 2 o'clock this morning, the world's plant life increased its production of oxygen tenfold. Oxygen, what? Shh. The first to die will be the very young and the very old, the saplings and the stumps. Just like nature, just like in a fire. Those that survive will live in the atmosphere so inflammable that any flame, any spark will unleash an inferno. You will regress to the Stone Age and beyond. Within a year, you will all be dead. There is nothing that you can do. It is the day. An absolutely ingenious villainous plot concocted by Alan Moore. For I am Woodrue. I am the fury and the bereavement of insane. Insane's the word. I noticed almost 30 major differences in his posture and speech patterns. He suffered a massive psychological breakdown since the last time we encountered him. We have a problem here. The Floronic Man's never given us much trouble in the past. Okay, so it looks like he's controlling the world's vegetation, but no, that we could handle. But the world's vegetation is controlling him. So what do? Threaten to beat up the trees? Qatar's right. We have a problem. Our own planet has declared war on us. Woodrue is only a means of negotiation. And Woodrue's mad. What you're saying is we get to lose this one. This time we finally strike out. Man, I don't believe this. We were watching out for New York, for Metropolis, for Atlantis. But who was watching out for La Croix in Louisiana? There is a silence in the house above the world. Leave it to Alan Moore to write the Justice League and to write superheroes better than anyone else. Actually showing them to be incredibly intelligent for a change, and actually thinking about things like speech patterns. But also by mentioning, that Woodrue he's never given us trouble in the past. I mean, he was obviously the Floronic Man was just one of these peripheral characters, very, not even a secondary, probably a tertiary character at best in the DC universe. And Alan Moore, as he's done so many times before, just plucks him from obscurity and makes him into this incredible villain that even has, the godlike powers of the Justice League sort of mystified as to how to combat him. So it's pretty amazing. A terrible silence, a hush before the earthquake. Swamp Thing. Amazing page again. Bissett and Todd Laban were really just developing such a strong chemistry, and they just kept getting better and better at illustrating Alan Moore's amazing visions. The Swamp Man, Holland. But you were rooted. You had gone on to your reward, gone to the meadows of oblivion and peace. Why did you return? Why did you return from that unless you sensed my triumph? Yes, you knew of my ascension, and you wished to share it. This moment, this glorious instant, because you are like me. Like me. It was your fibers that provided my link with the green, my stairway to this emerald throne. You are the opener of the way. Woodrue welcomes you to share his harvest. Perhaps this one first. She is my gift, her life, an offering to my brother, my mentor. You, the swamp god, her life. Take it. Spack. Just a casual punch just knocks him that far away. Frees the girl. Traitor! And drives this tree through his heart. Although he has no heart. They're fighting each other, Sandy. Get the kids out of here. Run. Stop crying and run. Alec! Please, what's happening here? Miss, I'm damned to hell if I know. First this Woodrue guy, then this mud man. Now everybody's running. Woodrue? That's Woodrue? But the way he looks. Yeah, uglier than death, backing out of the outhouse, reading Mad Magazine and crazy as a football bat. I ain't running, damned if I'm running. I lived here my life. Got roots here. I ain't running. Gonna fetch my old Evangeline. You'll see. Gonna go get her now. And then I'll be back. I'll be right back. Evangeline? Who's Evangeline? Woodrue, let me up. You're afraid to fight as a man fights. I'm not a man, and neither are you, in fact. You're not anything. Then there's no hope at all. There's always hope. How could you contact Oa? Some of the core are vegetable life forms, alien vegetables. They'd have the same communication problem that we have, maybe more so. What about the undersea situation? Not as serious yet as on land, but it's getting worse. Listen, wait a minute. The problem's with the oxygen balance, right? So why don't I use your atomic restructuring abilities to convert oxygen molecules into carbon dioxide and restore the balance? Yes, I thought of that. It wouldn't work. Superman's a super genius now. For one thing, do you know how many molecules make up the Earth's atmosphere? If you wanted, I could count them. Yeah, well, don't bother. What about the chick in the Titans, Blackbird? She's an empath. Raven? She's already tried. The mass plant mind is too alien. She can't reach it. But she can reach it, but she can't understand it. This is ridiculous. Ever since we first encountered Woodrue, he's lost every battle he's ever fought. Every battle, perhaps. But this is war. Great profile of Hawkman there. And the other side isn't taking prisoners. Miss Cable, I remember you. In the swamp, you came to visit the traitor when he was rooted in the swamp. I remember. Woodrue, what's happened to you? You were human. No, never human. Always I have been Woodrue. Always. Woodrue. Green Messiah. Woodrue. Annihilating angel of the thorns. Mister, I don't know about the annihilating angels, but I sure know a candy butt when I see one. He wasn't even allowed to say candy ass. Turn around. I want you to meet Evangeline. With that? You dare threaten me with that? How obvious. And yet... Well... Actually, it looks like he killed him that quickly, that easily. So any thoughts that the poor guy who was actually from the town was going to at least make some headway with his chainsaw? Not going to happen. And yet as a symbol, yes. Yes, of course, your film industry has canonized this instrument, has it not? Meat movies in which the horror rests with the idea of doing to humans what humans do each day to the trees in their thousands. Yes, as a symbol. Close your eyes, Miss Cable. Close your eyes and shout timber. Crack. Oh, my arm. It hurts. Why do you keep coming back? Why? Why do you keep coming back and hurting me? Because you are hurting the green. Me? Love the thorns coming out of the bottom of his lower lip, and some of them are broken off and some of them are just gone and sort of leaking sap or whatever. But that's not true. No, that's not true at all. I am the green servant. Its will works through me, for I am Woodrue, who, Look at all this. This is not the way of the wilderness. This is the way of the man. Your way, Woodrue. The green did not do this. You did. No, that's lies. And I spoke to the green. This is what it told me to do. This is what it wanted. This is what you wanted. You are ill, Woodrue. And you're poison. You poison the green with your desires. You're lying. You're lying. Why are you lying? You know I'm not lying. You know the green did not conceive of this madness. It isn't madness. The plants will pour out oxygen and all the animals will die. Only we shall remain. Don't you see? It's the only way. The only way to save the planet from those creatures. The only way. And what will change the oxygen back into the gases that we need to survive when the men and the animals are dead? And quite suddenly, he can no longer feel the steaming, fertile presence of Africa within his mind. No, or that of New Zealand, or Japan. So he had a brilliant plan, and with one brief statement, Swamp Thing has completely crumbled it. No animals, no man, no carbon dioxide, and no plants. He's lost touch with Japan and Wyoming and Carolina. No, don't leave me. I'm your friend. I'm Woodrue. Please, you know me. Please, it's all shrinking. It's going away. I can't feel the trees anymore. And the grass, where is the grass growing? Gray, so gray and dead. You must stay with me. Just you, that's all I want. Please don't go, it's lonely. There's a hole in my head as big as the world. It's so very lonely. Please stay. Please. And he touches a flower and it instantly dies. And the green world, the ecology, the global ecology has completely left him. He's no longer in touch with it telepathically or empathically, and it just sends him into a complete downward spiral into madness, and he just runs off into the distance. What happened to him? He fell from grace with the world. He was uprooted. It's over. He realized that the plants couldn't survive without man, and so the plants backed down. Yes, I wonder, will your people do as much? Of course not. Even though Woodrue is the villain in this piece, his rationale wasn't entirely wrong. Of course, man is very much a villain when it comes to, just ravaging the ecology and ravaging the environment. And certainly that's the point that Alan Moore is making. You said earlier, you said you weren't Alec. No, Alec Holland is dead. He died many years ago in an explosion. But it has taken him a long time to lie down. He's gone now. He's at rest. And who are you? I am the Swamp Thing. And he says that with a little bit of a peace of mind, happiness, acceptance on his face. He's finally accepted that that's what he is. And he's no longer Alec Holland. You're happy. Yes. And that's probably all that Abby really wanted, was for him to be happy when they hug. I'm sorry, Where will you go? Where I always go. Back home. Back to the swamp. Always. Always the swamp. I'm running through the dead gray trees. I'm running through a crowd, and none of them will speak to me. I'm not worthy. My arm's hurting. I run. A running man. Not a plant. A man. I'm a man, Jason Woodrue. Dr. Jason Woodrue. Jason. Call me Jason. But how will they know? How will they know I am a man unless I wear a man's skin? Completely gone off the rails now. Soon they will come. I feel them closing in. I must hurry. They will come from the sky. They always come from the sky. My bark has grown since I last wore Jason's flesh. I should trim it, cut it back. No time. It doesn't matter. They won't suspect. This canister, so difficult to work there. Now the clothes, the jacket. My arm hurts. They're all done. I'm ready. Woodrue? Woodrue. Well, yes, but call me Jason. I am one of you. I'm human. You can tell, he's completely gone mad and feeling abandoned by the forest and the swamp. He just tries to spray his skin back on, and now it doesn't work. It doesn't take, and you can tell even by just that back that back shot of him in the last panel on page 20 that he doesn't look remotely human. And in fact, he looks like a horror, worse than he did without the skin, of course. Human like you. God. Woodrue, what's wrong with you? Wrong with me? Oh, you mean my arm? Well, I broke it. An accident. I was just, doing something normal. Driving a car, fishing, one of those things us men do, and I broke it. It hurts, actually. It hurts quite a lot. I need a doctor. What am I saying? I am a doctor. Woodrue, it's okay. We'll find you a doctor. Arkham? I guess so, Cal. Really, a panel you never see. Superman taking his cape off and actually putting it around Woodrue's shoulders. It's comforting him. What happened out here? I don't know. Let's just be grateful that there's something watching out for the places no one watches out for. The bayou of Louisiana. And there is a raccoon doing what raccoons do when they're always washing their paws. Almost dawn. A bird speaks, barely awake. Another answers. Soon all the birds are talking, telling each other their dreams. Why? Why did I ever leave this place? I want to walk here forever. I want to struggle with the alligators turning over and over in the mud. I want to be alive and grow and rise up and meet the sun. Next, the sleep of reason. And yet another exquisite page from Brissett and Toleben, including this says wispy sort of pen and ink trees in the background. They almost sort of look like Edo era Japanese woodcut pen and inks. Beautiful. And, Swamp Thing just stretching out. At peace again with a red sun and framing him and the egrets flying in the background. Beautiful. And another great story. And another incredible cover. The Saga of the Swamp Thing, number 25 by Steve Bissett and John Totleben. And aside from being a great story, this also has a very famous first appearance cameo, which we will come to eventually. Incredible cover. Really beautiful. He arrived at the Baton Rouge bus depot a little after 11 on the Monday morning. So anyway, mister, it's been a great pleasure talking to you. And listen, if you ever need any loft insulation, Harry Price is my name. This is my card. I'm sorry, Mr. Price. This card won't be of any use. Hey now, look, you never know. I know. I know that 12 years ago you crashed your car while drunk. You walked away unhurt. Your wife's been confined to a wheelchair ever since. Currently, you have 5 different girlfriends. You did not bother to conceal them from your wife, although you know how much pain this causes her. Hey, wait, I never told you any. At 5:32 this morning, you will be impaled by a swordfish. There's nothing to be done. It is written. Selena has already decided not to buy the lawn furniture. So you see, your card won't be of any use to me at all. Good day. Actually, he said 5:32 this evening. But what a strange way to die, impaled by a swordfish. What does it have to do with Selena buying the lawn furniture? We shall see. On his way to the hotel, he called at the Third Eye Books and Paraphernalia and purchased some amber incense. Excuse me, huh? If you look at that first panel, I don't know if you can see that little sign there. It says New Sinister Ducks 45, which is a little in-joke because, of course, Alan Moore's band was called the Sinister Ducks. So they have a new single out. So that's kind of funny. Do you sell many of these? Nah, at the moment, doing a lot of aura goggles and stuff like that. But Ouija boards, I think I sold one 6 months ago. You want one? No, I don't think so. But this is Goya, isn't it? Is that L402 Goya? Yeah, I think so. The Sleep of Reason. Hence the title. And Goya is a masterpiece. Brings from Monsters, yes. He showed me the original sketches, but I lost touch with him and somehow never got to see the finished work. A most appropriate piece. I'll take it. Right. Alright, hence his supernatural abilities, aside from the swordfish prediction. The fact that he claims to have actually known Goya personally. Interesting. At 11:38, he gave $13 to a priest collecting for the mission fund, and then laughed for a full minute. $13, unlucky. Kind of joke devils make, or demons. The hotel was not the best, but it was the most atmospheric. The devil checked in at noon. That was an hour ago and 40 miles away. He had another beautiful splash page, from this time underwater. Fish, crawfish, which are native to the bayou and looks like catfish, including some insects crawling out of their mouths. And, oops, you can see beautifully integrated into the cover page this time, or the splash page is created by Lynn Wein and Bernie Wrightson as seaweed hanging down from this submerged branch. Beautiful. And a snapping turtle. Oh, no! Fuck. Oh no, my hair just got dry from last time. Listen, I'm sick of playing Creature from the Black Lagoon. Can we do something else? I am sorry. Hey, I was just kidding. Actually, you were underwater for like half an hour. You really don't need to breathe anymore. I never did. It was only a habit. I gave it up. But how does it feel to just stop breathing? Strange. You realize just how much effort it has been all along. Indeed, it's a lot of effort for us humans. Abby, Matt didn't come to visit me again. I don't think Matt's too interested in visiting him, actually. No. Well, me and Matt, we aren't spending a lot of time together. Right now, it's my fault mostly. I've, been highly strung. I sometimes imagine that, anyway, that's my problem. Maybe things will be better when I start my job. Job. Yeah, that was my big surprise. I had an interview yesterday. Little titmice crawling up the branches. All of these little details, add so much to the story. It's so beautiful. They did such a beautiful job with illustrating this. At the Elysium Lawn Center for Autistic Children, a woman called Deanna French showed me around. And this is Paul. Are you going to say hello to Abigail, Paul? Abigail. Spell it. I'm sorry, what? Spell Abigail. Paul needs you to spell Abigail for him. It's spelled Abigail. Is that okay? Abigail. Yeah, right. Paul doesn't really like you, Abigail, because you're too witchy. I have to go now. I'm in my group. Wow. That was Paul. He's been here only for 3 months. If you want to come to my office, I can show you some of his work. It's interesting. So she showed me his work. Yeah, it was pretty interesting. I am Paul. I am in a group. My group does spelling. It is very important to spell the right way. If you do not spell well, nobody has a job for you. Also, the Monkey King will come and that's it. You are dead forever. There's the pragmatic. Got to spell well to get a job. And, oh, by the way, the Monkey King will come and tear your limbs off. And you'll be dead forever. In my spelling group, Jesus started spelling something out wrong and Paul bid him so that he would stop. If he is lucky, he is lucky. If I had not done it, he would have been murdered. Maybe he goes by Jesus, not Jesus. Paul's 6. Both of his parents were killed in a freak wiring accident or something like that. Did you like him? Yeah, I guess. I just wasn't expecting it to be so intense. I know, I remember my first autistic kids. They scared me to death. I promised myself I'd quit the first chance I got. That was 8 years ago. Abigail, do you want this job? Yeah, I guess I do. She's an incredible woman. I really like her. And so anyway, I start tomorrow. It'll give us a little bit of security. It'll give me a chance to get involved with someone else's problems. And those kids, I wish you could see them. Anyway, listen. I have to drive down to Baton Rouge to buy some stuff that I need. And I told Matt I'd be around for lunch. I better go. My hair can dry on the way. Take care of yourself. Say, is your skin changing color? Sort of? Yes. Autumn is coming. And she laughs, unsure if he's really joking. And she leaves. After she is gone, he stands and listens to the water and the trees and the insects. Autumn is coming. Autumn is something else, something dark. In the corner of his eye, a sudden blur of gray moving through the treetops up to the right. He turns, focusing. It's gone. He stands, he wonders. What comes with autumn? Well, the autumn clearance auction, for one thing, at Sparky's Baton Rouge auction barn. Oh, say, excuse me. You've just been to the auction, right? I have. Oh, well, I just wonder if you knew whether the lawn furniture had gone yet. No, I'm sorry. It doesn't matter. Say, you know the stuff comes from some family that died. I read it in the papers. Man and his wife, both dead, kids in a loony bin, I hear. Terrible business. Still, it's an ill wind blows nobody any good. My wife's in there bidding for lawn chairs. I tell you, next summer I'm going to do some real relaxing. Mr. Corelli, next summer you'll be in jail for manslaughter. You see, Selena doesn't like the lawn chairs. Good day to you, sir. Huh? Hey, wait a minute. Did you know that Selena was the name of... Selena didn't like the lawn chairs. It's going to be very unfortunate for a loft insulation salesman, perhaps. My wife, Abby? I mean, that still counts for something, doesn't it? Oh, yeah, I guess it does, but what does that have to do with me taking a job? Abby, I don't want to have to spell this out, but, well, you've been getting a lot more excited about those kids than you have about me lately. That's all. I have to go to Baton Rouge. I'll see you later. Doesn't do much to console him there. Stand up. There. Now get down on your knees and apologize. So he acts out against her outfit, making it seem like her as he's surrounded by all of these imaginary creatures. Something sniggers as it coils from beneath the bed. Something rustles as it clambers down the drapes. Matt Cable is happy in a very personal heaven. A most private nightmare. Is he asleep? Is the kid asleep yet? Who cares? We aren't doing anything. Well, I guess not. Hey, D, you like the board. I got it at Third Eye. What do I have to do? Well, you put your fingertips on it like this. It jumped, Chris. You made that jump? I didn't. Listen, relax. This is supposed to do this. Jeez, did you feel that? Chris, it's spelling something. Oh, God, what if it's my Aunt Sophie? Hey, now, really, we have to be serious, or we scare the spirits away. Now, what's a spelling? O-M-M-O-X. Omox. Be quiet, Jenny. H-O-D-A-E-L? Is that Hodale? Look. K-A-M-A-R-A. Kamara. Is it trying to spell camera, do you think? What's that smell? These are Paul's parents, and obviously the spelling of from the Ouija board that they're doing now is the emphasis that locked into his mind, his autistic mind, of the importance of spelling correctly, particularly when this happens. Oh, geez, gross. That's gross. Is that the refrigerator? I don't know. Say, is it coming from under the table? Jenny, Chris, what is it doing to me? Oh, Jenny. Oh, Jenny. Oh, no. Great drawing there of
this white monkey-like creature that looks like a Susian nightmare, of course. I have a feeling that all of these deaths would have been a lot more graphic without the comics code, and yet they're still very effective even under the code. He lay upstairs. He heard it all, the screaming, the sound exactly like someone eating lettuce, the silence that followed, and then the footsteps and the light as his bedroom door swung open. But that was not the most awful thing. He was obviously terrified. It was the way it nuzzled against him. Oops. It was the way that the fur on its snout was sticky when it kissed his hand. That was the most awful thing. This thing that just obliterated his parents. Selena, that is the most awful thing I've ever seen. Where are we going to put it? Bobby, shut up and tie it on a roof. Selena, I don't even know if it's legal driving with stuff like this on the roof. Why the hell didn't you buy the lawn chairs? Because I didn't like the lawn chairs and it's my money. Now shut up. Oh, right, sure. I suppose that's what you told your psycho boyfriend that you met in the auction. I didn't meet anyone at the auction. I wish to God I had, believe me. Now get in the car, Bobby, and drive. You know, the red-haired guy who bought the Ouija board? Oh, you feeble, suspicious-minded little. I suppose he was the one who put you up to buying that piece of junk on the roof. Drive, Bobby. Jeez, no wonder these people got killed. Anybody who'd allow an eyesore like that in their home deserves. Bobby. Yeah, I know. It's 10 minutes after 5. And the shadows are growing longer. Something is wrong. Something's been wrong all day. The birds are silent in the branches. The gators stay close to the bank, stomachs full of rocks and broken turtle shells. They do indeed swallow rocks and broken turtle shells. Troubled he sits and sleeps and dreams. Is a dream of someone else, someone who wore flesh, not foliage. A frightened man, a man in a furnace. Alec Holland. He can hear the roar of the explosion, hear the dreadful sizzling and bubbling and popping. He has propelled a blazing stringless puppet, stumbling through the flames in some Catholic martyr, like some Catholic martyr. And he screams and falls and wakes and thinks, what is it that comes with autumn? And he knows it is fear. So he's not Alec Holland, but the microorganisms and plant life that absorbed Alec's consciousness still, of course, remember his death, or, and so it still torments him. He still has nightmares about it. It is fear that comes with autumn. He feels it. It thrums beneath his thick, powerful fingers, and its bouquet of soured sweat is not masked by incense. Within the dark pool of his mind, images unfold, opening like anemones in brine. The man, the woman, the boy awake upstairs, the planchette moving. I think that is Goya's painting right there behind him. Kamara. The penultimate fragment of the cryptogram tumbles into place, an invocation spelled out by a Ouija board. That was how the damn thing had clawed its way through into the world of sanity and reason. There is much to be done. It is already 5:30. Oh, hey, I'm terribly sorry, lady. Here, let me pick you up. Let me help you pick those up. No, it's really all right. No. Hey, no sweat. Say, that isn't a local accent, is it? I guess you must be a stranger in these parts. Yourself. Well, listen, my name's Harry Price. I'm down here for a loft insulation convention. Maybe both of us could use a little company in a strange town. No thanks, I have to go. He's already got 5 girlfriends, so to speak, and he's working on another. But I don't think Abby's buying. Hey, don't run off. Listen, I know you must be wary of strangers. I mean, the people around here, weird. Forget it. I met this guy this morning at the depot, and listen, get lost, okay? Well, if that's how you really feel, but look, I've got an idea that you might be someone who could really use loft insulation. I got my card right here. Bobby, for God's sake, look out. Slams on the brakes, and the horrific thing that they had purchased, that we didn't know what it was, bursts through the ties that bind, and it is in fact a stuffed swordfish that impales Harold Price, loft insulation salesman and philanderer, who crippled his wife while driving drunk, so he deserved it. Oh my God. Will you look at that? What a crazy accident. Selena, this is your fault. If we'd have bought the lawn chairs. Okay, police, let's break it up. Now, you say you had this thing tied onto your roof. Oh, Bobby, you jerk. You jerk. Please, I have to come through. Craziest thing I ever saw. Let me see that license. Miss Cable, do you mind if I talk with you a while? We have much to discuss. We do, huh? Okay, who the hell are you? Who the hell indeed? Forgive me, Miss Cable. My name is Blood. Jason Blood. And here, if I'm correct, this character right here where the cursor is, this one looks like someone too, but this character looks a lot like Sting, the lead singer of the Police, former lead singer of the Police. And in fact, I believe that's the first cameo of John Constantine, which makes this issue quite collectible, even though it really is just the briefest of cameos, unless he appears later on, which I don't think he does. But anyway, that's certainly worth noting. I wouldn't even have picked it for John Constantine. I would have thought it was Sting, but of course Constantine was based on Sting, so that's that. Blood on its muzzle, blood on his hands where it kissed him. He had laid awake all night unmoving, its sickly breath warm upon his neck. In the morning, the Monkey King had gone. The neighbors called and found the bodies of his parents. Then the police called and found him. They took him to the police station, but he couldn't tell them anything. They took him to the hospital, but they couldn't do anything. Finally, they brought him to Elysium Lawns. They couldn't do anything either. They didn't believe him when he told them about the Monkey King. They thought he was crazy, but he wasn't. It licks his cheek. He knows what it wants. It wants him to be its friend. Which is most disturbing of all. It wants him to tell it what to do, but he can't. He doesn't know how. And so it just does what it wants. The little girl in the next room is called Roberta. At age 4, Roberta accidentally smothered her infant brother with a polyethylene bag. That's why she's here. The taste of her fear is bright and coppery. It drinks both deeply and well. In the next room is a boy named Michael. After that, John, and then Jessica, and Delroy, and Simone. There are many children, but the night is long. A sueño de la razón produce monstruos, and it is very hungry. Next, a time of running. Again, Goya. And another amazing cover, framed by this giant worm-like centipede type thing. And looking carefully, it looks like a very familiar feature in the background. Over the full moon, that looks a lot like the demon. And this again is a cover by Steve Bissett and John Totleben from February 20th, 1984. Hard to believe. Yes, for every child, rich or poor, there's a time of running through a dark place, and there's no word for a child's fear, and no ears to hear it if there was a word, and no one to understand it if they heard. God save the little children. They abide and they endure. From Night of the Hunter, screenplay by James Agee. And another beautiful splash page. Swamp Thing, A Time of Running. Some deer and rabbits, ducks, geese, everything is kind of fleeing in the background. It began with a death. Harry priced Loft Insurance. Oh, okay. Are you enjoying the tea, Miss Cable? It began with blood. No, I'm shook up from the accident, but it tastes like iron filings. Also, whenever I meet someone like you, it usually ends in bad craziness. Bad craziness would seem to be a phenomenon that you are familiar with. But then, you are an arcane. For you, it comes with the blood. Arcane's my maiden name. How? It isn't important. The bad craziness is almost upon you, Miss Cable. Only Elysium Lawns is important now. You start work there tomorrow. There's a child, an orphan, whose parents died recently of unknown causes. His name is Paul. You must make sure that... How dare you? Isn't there even a corner of my life that's safe from all this weirdness? I don't know who you are or how you know about me, but you keep your hands off of Elysium Lawns. It's one thing she finally had for herself, and someone's already invading that. I don't know, I get something straight, and all of this madness and evil just bubbles up and smothers it. Miss Cable, your self-pity interests me not even slightly. It is the children who are in danger. Watch over them. Woman, try to save as many as you can, for you know less than they of madness, and less than I of evil. Good day. Ketsup seems to be spelling, and he's holding his tea rather awkwardly. It began with blood. I guess it'll probably end the same way. Until then, I keep running. There's a stitch in my side. My chest hurts. My saliva tastes funny. I wish there was a barrier, a fallen tree, an excuse to just stop and sit down and cry and give up. I wish. We're almost there. At the heart of it, I can feel it. I can feel it in the air. Dry, prickly, a leaden pressure on the eardrums, a fat, dark worm that rides in your gut. Fear. It thickens the night into the cold, congealed gelatin. It stops the hearts of birds. I used to think that I knew from fear. I didn't. All I knew were the suburbs of fear. And now here I am in the big city. I was nervous when I started here this morning. I just stood outside and I couldn't go in. In the end, I said, "Enough, you're being stupid. Just open the door and walk on through. Everything will be okay. I'm an animal, an animal, an animal, an animal, an animal, an animal." Oh, jeez. An animal, 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 animal. Yo, Vince, leave her. So she was nervous about walking in, and then she just bucked up, walked in, and immediately she's tackled by a naked, crazy person. Jeez, I'm sorry about this, lady. Vince, it's okay. Straighten out, man. John, we better get him in the mat. Animal, 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 animal. Animal, 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 animal. There you go, Vince. Listen, it's okay. Help me sit on this thing, will you? Here, let me. You're Abby, right? Abby Cable. Yeah? Tim Carburton. I knew it was you. Deanna told us about your hair. Nice hair you got there, Miss Cable. Well, thanks, Tim. Say, who was that guy who... Oh, that's Vince. He'll be okay now that he's in the mat. Maybe thrash around for an hour or two, but he won't damage himself. They're all cutting loose this morning. You sure picked a terrific day to start work. I sure did. What do you mean, no more mats? Well, I don't know. Get a mattress off one of the kids' beds or something. Come on, man. That ought to hold her. Lord knows what happens when we run out of mattresses. A lot of the kids dirtied them up in the night. Come on, let's go to the office. I've never seen the kids like this. One or two get reckless from time to time, but this is all of them. They want to see something weird. Hey, you want to see something weird? This is a drawing that a kid called Craig did this morning. Here's another by Helen, who you just met. One by Emma Jean. One by Jose. Notice anything? Monkeys? Right. But I thought there was only one kid obsessed with monkeys. You showed me his books at the interview. Paul, wasn't it? It was. Paul, how's it going? You remember me, Abigail. Abigail. Hello, Abigail. You know you'll die pretty soon. Huh? It'll just scare you to death. Death. Whatever you're scared of, that's what it looks like. Spiders, I bet. Most girls are scared of spiders. Spiders. Roberta said it looked like her kid brother. Only he was all blue. Her kid brother suffocated with a polyethylene bag over his head by accident. Well, it's just really tragic. Roberta, Roberta. Paul, who are we talking about? You know, the Monkey King. Paul's talking about the Monkey King, but nobody believes him. I believe you, Paul. The Swamp Thing just crushes this chain link fence. Now who's going to believe me? Good point. Abby, I don't believe this. And good segue. You just got home from that madhouse. Why do you have to go back? Matt, it's not a madhouse. They're kids. Don't you dare call it a madhouse. One of them bit you on the leg, Abby. One of them swore at you and almost ripped your hair out. They throw up their food. They don't clean themselves. They're kids. They need somebody, and they need somebody tonight. And what if I need somebody tonight? Or is Florence Nightingale above that kind of stuff? Abby, look, I didn't mean... I'm going out now, Matt. I'm going to walk over and find Alec, and then I'm going up to Elysium Lawns. Elysium Fields is, of course, the Roman version of heaven, which is where it comes from. Don't bother to wait up. Abby, look. If you really have to go, take the car. It's getting dark. I'll walk. And if it gets dark, I'll have my lamp, don't I? It was a pretty good exit line. It wasn't Betty Davis, but it was okay. I walked. A lamp reference to Florence Nightingale, I believe. And after a while I ran to Alec, to the Swamp Thing, to whatever his name is. Ran to the only person I know who isn't stupid or messed up. Ran to the Rock. That's the irony. Alec is, or Swamp Thing is, this monster in a way, but of course, as usual, he's less trouble, less insane, less violent, less everything than all of the so-called normal people running about. I tried to tell him about Paul, about Jason Blood, the Monkey King, about the fear I could smell in the air, like bitter ozone. All that came out was the usual Abby babble. Good word. But it didn't matter. He already knew. He's far more empathetic than Paul or Matt, Matt, and all these other men that she encounters. He'd felt it too, felt it in the soil and the wind. He'd seen it in the flight of the birds and in the eyes of the gators. He knew. I think he knew more than me about how bad things were. He made us run all the way here. That must mean it's not too late, mustn't it? He wouldn't have made us run if it was already too late. Would he? We're too late. He can feel it. Oh God, I can feel it too. We ran all that way. And it's already in there. It's come back after last night. We knew it would come back. He knew it would come back. It would come back when it got hungry. It was the fear that it wanted. It ate fear. It disgorged fear. It lived on fear, and it killed with fear. That's how it had killed his mom and dad. The doctor said it was drugs. D-U-R-U-G-S. Paul's a better speller than I am, sorry. Or an accident. A-C-C-I-D-E-N-T. But he knew. His mother had bitten through her own tongue. Fear. They've been playing with that stupid Ouija board. Ouija. O-U-I-J-A, board. And then they spelled something wrong. Something wrong. That's how the Monkey King got into this place from the other place. But if it wanted to stay here, it needed a master. Its touch is dry like old beetle husk. It takes his hand and pulls him gently from his bed. And then after that, they take a little walk. Along this way, I think we can get into the canteen back entrance. In Roberta's room, something small and cold clambers across the counterpane. This is the sound of polyethylene going in and out very fast. Meaning that if you put a bag over your head You're breathing in and out very fast, and that's her nightmare because that's what she saw when her brother died. Through here, oh, Alec, can you feel it? I have that humming in my ears. And the next room was Michael. When Michael was 7, a school friend's mother had instilled in him a mortal fear of cancer. Unfortunately, she hadn't explained what cancer actually was. Michael had his own ideas. This horrible red jellyfish-like thing, Portuguese man of war type thing, lingering over his bed. Where are the staff? Where are all the staff? Can't they feel it? But best of all was Jessica. Her fear was the worst, was the biggest, was the most delicious, the most intoxicating. It was Jessica's fear that sent it crazy. Jessica screaming, windows shattering. Mommy needn't know. Its voice is a slurred and mindless parody. Its features are slack and hardly formed. Mommy needn't know. Whatever you're scared of, that's what it looks like. In this case, this is probably an uncle, or some relative who molested her when she was a child, and that's what terrifies her the most. And that's probably why his face is even, this slack and hardly formed, because that's probably how she ever even saw him in the night when he came to molest her. That's my speculation anyway. Whatever you're scared of. Its shape flows, a viscous nightmare of liquid flesh. Its voice speeds and slows and changes. The children scream, the monkey screams. The noise is unbearable. Alec is shouting, trying to tell me something. Doesn't he realize we're too late and there isn't a hope? Not a hope in hell? So it's Etrigan the demon. What a fantastic appearance. The toys about the nursery are set for idiot chaos to arrange at whim. He drools and ruins lives, his chin is wet, and young or old, it matters not to him. Etrigan speaks in Shakespearean prose and rhyme. The gracious lady and her root-choked beast have come to save the innocents from harm, to spare them from the monkey's dreadful feast. What noble souls they have, what faith, what charm. And see, the children's uproar brings to life their guardians, that most dedicated breed. Yet she betrays her husband, he his wife, though both of them are kind to babes in need. Should innocence be mollycoddled thus? I fail to see the reason for the fuss. I am the one who comes to cage the ape. I pay no heed to youth or purity. I'll roast each fool that aids the beast escape, and drink their health tonight in purgatory. Innocence, why to hear the tales they tell? You'd think there was no guilty child in hell? He's pure demon. Feast, jackanape, eat hearty while you can. Upon your necks the breath of Etrigan. And a fantastic full-page splash as he crashes through. It began with death. It began with blood. I guess it'll probably end the same way. The night The night can make a man see himself, can make him look into his own insides, and the night can make him honest enough to accept what he finds there, all the weakness, all the selfishness, the clammy desires, and the small cruelties. He's been thinking since she walked out the door. She needed his help, and he wasn't there the night. It can bloody a man's conscience. He buttons his coat and steps outside. He's going after her, going to help her, going out into the cold, the dark, the night. The night can make a man brave, but not more sober. Burma shave. Car literally crashes through the tree, as you can see by the yellow streak here, down the embankment. And we're on to the last issue, Saga of Swamp Thing. This is number 27 from August 1984. Again, cover by Steve Bissett and John Totleben. And now we see a cover with Etrigan the Demon, which is pretty exciting. The frozen tableau, crystallized in time, hangs poised, like spilled blood yet to reach the ground. The terror of the audience turns to mime. Their screaming masks make not the slightest sound. A gourmet of despair, it gives me pleasure to chew upon this instant at my leisure. See here the poor bewildered orphan boy, whose parents set the monkey devil free, perceiving magic as some parlor toy. Their lives were forfeit, and his sanity. And here behold that pestilential ape. Its grip upon his arm could not be faster. Its name is fear, like fear it alters shape, and yet it licks his hand and calls him master. As for these shrieking statues, I'll not weep, they'll perish as they've lived, dazed, witless sheep, in slaughterhouses far beyond their kin. I shed no tear for those that die unshriven, for they are men, just men, and what are men but chariots of wrath? Lots of comeuppance for mankind. From the Demon, from the Floronic Man, and most specifically from Alan Moore. By Demons Driven, fantastic page again. Horrifying Monkey King, Etrigan. Just clawing it. And the little drawings of the children, which I guess these are all Monkey Kings. No. It's hard to say. Or maybe just what they fear. I don't know. The battle is engaged, the moment gone. Draw back the curtain, dim the lights. Play on. Alec, those creatures. Oh God, this home's full of children. I'm supposed to look after them. Looking after them's my job. The monkey's got a hold of Paul. We've got to do something? It's okay. Etrigan seems to be tearing it apart. And Paul is just in a state of shock, obviously. And the Monkey King's eyes, seeing Abby and Paul, and shrieking and crushing the demon's head into the floor.
The swamp, Abby. Run for the swamp.
But you, what about you? There are those 2 monsters and...
Scratch. 3 monsters. Run.
And what's crucial here is that Swamp Thing is seeing the worms that... It's not really technically those worms, I think, that consumed him, but the worms that, of course, Jason Woodrue discovered how they consumed, intelligence. Intelligence could be consumed as a food source, essentially. And so, this is the thing that haunts Swamp Thing the most, because it was when he discovered, when he read Jason's notes and saw the worm, the whole scientific matter about the worms, that he realized that he didn't possess humanity, that he was never Alakala, and all of that, which is what has haunted him this entire time, even though he sort of overcame it. But this Monkey King manifests everyone's worst fears, and these are Swamp Thing's fears, maybe his only fear. Abby. Where are you, Abby? Off with the kids, I bet. Always off with the kids. It was me who needed you. It was Lee. It was me. Huh? Do you hear that? That buzzing, is that a fly? I know we argue, but I was sorry. I came after you to help. A little drunk, curved too fast. Whose is all this blood, Abby? Oh, God. Oh, Mother, I don't want to die. You don't have to. I can see that I've alarmed you. Feel free to scream if you want to. There is no one here. I shall still be here when you're finished. Damn you to hell, Matt Cable. It's probably Abby saying that. Damn you for making me do this on my own. Paul, try to run. Please, Paul. The Monkey King, it came. Monkeyki. Yes, okay, I know you know how to spell Monkey King. Oh no, I'm sorry, Paul. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to shout. Paul, I'm scared too. Thus fear breeds anger, which in turn breeds fear. This cancer must be curbed. My choice is clear. The ape is battling with the thing of moss. His small, reluctant master quite forgot. Soon it will pause and realize its loss. Its how will matter. Its how will come too late and matters not. By then the child that binds it to this plane shall be consumed. No, you can't, and nothing shall remain. Fear not, for pain is short and death is long. Though as to what dreams follow, legends vary, but also suffer those that do no wrong. Your death is small, but it's necessary. Bam. So, you escaped the Monkey King's festering clutch. Perhaps you had no fear for it to use. I'll own, it does not interest me much. You play dice with a demon, sir, and lose. And he rips Swamp Thing's arm off. And because Swamp Thing is not a human being. It doesn't even technically have bones. He just reattaches it. Spuck, pip, quick, pwop, plip, whap, and punch. Or trut. Don't worry, Paul. Don't worry. Don't worry. The big green man, he's my friend. He won't let anything hurt us. You'll see. You'll... Drool coming from the Monkey King's jaws. Can't scream anymore. Good. Perhaps you'll listen to my proposal now, Mr. Cable. Or may I call you Matthew? Oh no. Oh no. Oh God. Your body is quite smashed, I'm afraid. I fear that you will bleed to death within the hour, unless you prefer not to, in which case I may be able to help. I like that he's hanging upside down this entire time. And we're kind of seeing him through the eyes of this fly. You're not real. You're a hallucination. Oh, Abby. Abby. But of course I'm an hallucination. So there's nothing to worry about, is there? No. No, I guess not. Please. I want to live. I have a wife. Yes, of course you do. Of course. Now, if you want to see her again, I'm afraid you'll have to do something rather unpleasant first. It's always the way with these things, and it won't take long. What? What should I do? Well, you'll have to open your mouth as wide as it will go. Oh, yes. That's splendid. You're gonna live. You're gonna have to make a deal with the devil. That's just right. Now, this next little bit will be the worst. There. That wasn't so bad, was it? Now for my side of the bargain. Whatever you're afraid of. That's what it looks like. And this is what's really horrible. Abby, for the first time, realizes that what she's really afraid of is Matt. Matt and his horrible visions, and Matt and his clinginess. Abby, Abby, I love you. Abby. No, leave her alone. You killed my mom, you killed my dad, but I'm not afraid of you. And he starts melting away. Paul? It's Mommy. No, you're not my mom. My mom is D-E-A-D. You're a scummy little monkey, and you don't scare me. You're a liar. You just pretend to be things. Well, you can pretend to be a snake or a wolf or a monster, and I don't care. You're not frightening me. And Swamp Thing and Abby and Etrigan are all watching this amazed, because Paul is the key to the Monkey King's present here, and the demon was going to kill him. So the Monkey King no longer had that portal, but if Paul can rebel against the Monkey King, then he's more powerful than all of them in this case, against the Monkey King at least. And there you go. Little kittens are scarier than you. You're not even as scary as a mouse, not even as scary as a bug. At which point, Etrigan plucks the Monkey King from Paul's hands, the tiny monkey, and plops it right down his throat. Ah! Fear, no matter how small it has grown, retains a certain flavor of its own. Etrigan is quite the savage. The ape is caged. Seems where demons fail and monsters falter, angels may prevail. You have my thanks. One warning I'll afford. Your parents freed the monkey with a charm spelled out and random letters on a board. Was there some further fiend that nudged their arm? The answer, madam, is for you to know. I've said too much. My job is done. I go. Wait, what did you mean? And there was probably the greatest appearance of the demon in his entire DC Comics career, and certainly better dialogue than the great Jack Kirby was able to give him. Abby. Alec, he was just talking about me. I've got to know what it meant. Can you take Paul back to Elysium Lawns? But please, Alec, this is something important. I can feel it. I've got to know, Alec. Well, she runs off into the swamp. Swamp Thing takes Paul's hand, and Paul looks terrified after facing down the Monkey King. Abby just ran off and left him holding the hands of another monster. Scared? But then he realizes, no, not anymore. Can I go home now, please? And maybe Paul will regain his sanity. Were you scared when the Monkey King jumped on you? What did you see? I saw a fire. Once I knew someone who died by fire. That would be Alec Holland dying in the explosion. And you were afraid? Yes, a little. That's good. I mean, it makes me feel better. I mean, if even monsters get scared sometimes, then, well, that isn't so bad, is it? No, it isn't so bad. That's very touching. And Abby comes through this tall grass, and suddenly she sees Jason Blood. Miss Cable, you must forgive me. I am indisposed. You and that demon, you're the same person. Yes, I suppose we are. It hasn't always been this way. Once we were very different, our psyches constantly at war. We struck a bargain. Spiritual compromise. We would grow more like each other. There would be more of a balance. But a bargain with a demon is no bargain at all. Demons cheat. It is their nature. Oh yes. I've grown more like Etrigan. And he too has grown more like Etrigan. He has merely borrowed a little of my intellect, my vocabulary. He has not changed. We are still at war, and I fear that I am losing. Please, I don't understand all of this, but the demon, he said something about me, a warning. A warning. Cannot help you, Miss Cable. Etrigan knows things that I do not. If he warned you, you best stay on your guard. Sometimes a demon may offer words of wisdom, and sometimes they even tell the truth. Yet another aspect of this ongoing theme of people, of these various creatures that appear in this comic who are all struggling to maintain their humanity, regain their humanity, or get rid of their humanity. The Floronic Man and Arcane really wanted to shirk their humanity. Swamp Thing desperately wanted it back, and he's the most tragic of all because he can never have it back. He's not human. And yet, of course, it questions what humanity means anyway because he's the most compassionate of all of these. And now you have Jason Blood, who desperately wants to maintain the balance and control his humanity, but he's slowly losing out to the demon. So everyone's fighting this. I guess you could even say that the normal human beings, certainly Matt Cable is struggling with it. And Abby, although quite human, is dealing with all these people around her, or these creatures around her, and her own sort of genetic disposition as Arcane's daughter, I believe. Elysium Lawns Residential School, and Swamp Thing finally lets go of Paul's hand, and Paul runs back home, or to Elysium Lawns, which is his home. Along its eastern edge, the sky's aflame. He skulks back to his mud, his ferns and stones. Is it unease he feels without a name, or merely autumn gnawing at his bones? The things of shadow vanish with the night. Worse horrors still are heralded. More beautiful mossy trees and swamp. It's mandatory to be really good at drawing flora and fauna to do this comic, and Steve Bissett and John Toleben did exquisitely well. By light. Hello, Abby. I came out after you. I wanted to apologize. I wanted to help. You need a ride? She looks a little bit stunned, probably a little bit wary. After all, Matt was the vision that she saw when the Monkey King showed her greatest fear. And by the way, the car is completely repaired. The windshield is no longer cracked, and his face is no longer busted. So obviously that thing that crawled into his mouth, which was supposedly a hallucination, something has taken him over. And yet, she makes the fateful mistake of getting in the car. Perfect panels. Hesitation, slowly gets in. Thus mollified, she goes, harsh words forgiven, down highways in the dark, by demons driven. This story is dedicated with awe and affection to Jack the King Kirby, creator of Etrigan the Demon, and incredible artwork in that series, certainly worth picking up. But Alan Moore did great justice to his interpretation of the demon here. And another fantastic story. And I believe that is the end. This is beautiful painting. This is by Michael Zoli. And as it says, this iconic painting of Swamp Thing by artist Michael Zoli first appeared as a retail poster before becoming the cover art for the second trade paperback edition of the Saga of Swamp Thing. The piece also served as the inspiration for the cold cast porcelain statue sculpted by William Paquette and released by DC Direct in 1996. And looks like it was done in 1992. And Michael Zoli has done a lot of work, but he also, aside from doing that and maybe later stuff on Swamp Thing, I'm not sure, he also did some stuff on Sandman for Neil Gaiman, at least a couple of stories. And that's an absolutely beautiful, beautiful illustration there. Just shows you what they can do when they're just illustrating a single piece instead of having to do multiple panels to tell a story. Anyway, that is the end of book 1, volume 1 of Sandman. That was issue 20 through 27. Obviously, they're in 2 parts. So I hope you listened to the first part, and I hope you enjoyed this part. And if you did, please feel free to leave a comment and the like button, because it's just nice to know that somebody else is listening. And thanks very much, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I'll be back with Volume 2 very soon. So thanks a lot. Bye.